Alright, hey folks, welcome to the Three Way Theater Podcast. I would say we're 2 for 3 for alright movies.
I would 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
I would put Body Slam at the low end.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
The worst movie so far.
We all agree.
I thought that was established.
Yeah,
2 out of 3 movies we liked. The one we didn't was Body Slam.
Are we on Twitter?
Yeah, we've already established that we're on Twitter.
That, Lumberjake.
Do we?
Yep. At Three Way Theater.
Well, we are eating up a lot of valuable time. We could be talking about this fantastic movie.
Great segue, Jake. So we're going to dive right in to the beauty and wonder that is Russell Madness.
Russell Madness. Aww.
Lost his hind leg.
What?
And died in his sleep.
Oh, at least he died in his sleep. That's sweet. That's
Way to bring this podcast down.
And this hundreds of years old monkey?
How long do monkeys live?
8 years?
8.
I don't know.
Hold on.
Yeah, no.
Whoa.
We need this.
Pause
Hold on.
this podcast.
Pause.
Pausecast.
All right, I'll turn it off.
Okay. What?
What?
You had a peacock.
As an imaginary
My
friend.
imaginary friend was a peacock.
What was his name?
Mr. Peacock.
I do not believe it.
You can ask my mom. She'll tell you that. Like, I don't see what's so crazy about this.
Down, leapdog.
Leapdog! Leapdog!
Check us out every Sunday at 11 p.m.
And Craigslist, where we're looking for wrestlers.
Yes, and as always, I'm Mike Pava,
I'm Lumberjake.
And I'm JC.
and this has been
The Three Way Theater.
Ready? All right.
Ready?
We're doing this now?
All right, hey folks, welcome to the Three Way Theater Podcast. I'm Mike Pava,
I'm Lumberjake.
And I'm JC.
and we watch wrestling movies.
The wrestling movies we expect to be bad, and I think we're pleasantly surprised.
I mean, out of the 3 podcasts we've done so far, including this one, I would say we're 2 for 3 for alright movies.
I would
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Yeah.
I would put Body Slam at the low end.
Oh, absolutely.
100%.
The worst movie so far.
We all agree.
I thought that was established.
Yeah,
2 out of
no.
3 movies we liked. The one we didn't was Body Slam.
We started this podcast on a very angry note.
We did. Although, if you ask people about their favorite professional wrestling movies, most people will put Body Slam on the list. But I think that's because they have just real negligence towards the other catalog of wrestling movies that are out there.
But I think the thing was, we all went into Body Slam with high expectations because we loved the movie growing up.
and you were
up.
high.
And,
Yes.
well, yeah.
Very high expectations.
Very high expectations. And we watch it as adults, and it's just absolutely awful.
Right, exactly. So
Well,
I think
it's
the people...
awful because what I want to say is that I love bad movies. I'm a huge fan of B movies, like these
Like
schlock
B-movie?
cinema and B movie with Jerry Seinfeld, very good. But I'm a huge fan of awful movies. Body Slam was difficult to watch. I had such a hard time just getting through it.
It was frustrating at times.
Because
Absolutely.
as a fan of logic, it baffled me.
There was absolutely zero logic and zero payoff in a lot of senses.
And then we follow that up with Grunt, the wrestling movie, which I think we were all shocked at how much we loved it.
I think we didn't have high expectations for Grunt, the wrestling movie, and it completely it surprised me in many ways.
Yeah, I loved Grunt, and I will watch Grunt again, honestly.
I'd watch Grunt again. The music was something that I loved. The fake documentary aspect of it. It was just a great movie.
It was just
So
a fun watch.
if you haven't listened to our second podcast or the first podcast and you're just listening to us for the first time, where can you head over and listen to us anytime, JC?
Anytime. Right now, we're taking up shop at Podomatic. our good old friends there at Podomatic.
Love Podomatic.
Oh, yeah, no, they're
favorite.
great. So, threewaytheater.podomatic.com. And you can listen to our entire catalog of episodes.
All 3 of them.
Exactly.
You can also catch us on Facebook, YouTube. We're on the Twitter.
On the Twitter machine.
All right.
Oh, this episode may not be on YouTube.
Yeah, so unfortunately, even...
Yeah, here's the thing.
Putting together the video podcast for last episode, even showing a second of clip of Russell Madness had us flagged on YouTube.
The very end of the podcast that we're promoting this episode we're doing right now got flagged for copywritten content.
Which, I mean, really, we're giving them free press. We are telling them how much we enjoyed this movie.
You know what? It's our second podcast, and we've already been flagged. So I'd say we're doing something right, fellas.
I mean, we were flagged in the first episode.
Somebody's watching it.
I mean, it's copyrighted content. We don't need to be special to...
We are special.
We are special. Everything we do out there is special, brother.
So in addition to all of our great social media houses, you can also listen to us Sunday nights at 11 p.m. on hoobazoo.com.
That's right.
The booth.
And are we anywhere else? Are we on Twitter?
Yeah, we've already established that we're on Twitter.
That, Lumberjake.
Did we?
Yep, at Three Way Theater.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we are eating up a lot of valuable time. We could be talking about this fantastic movie.
Great segue, Jake. So we're going to dive right in to the beauty and wonder that is Russell Madness.
Russell Madness.
So I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of this movie.
All right.
When a man inherits his grandfather's arena, he and his family try to restore the family wrestling business with the help of a talking monkey and their star attraction, a wrestling dog.
All right.
That is a very brief synopsis.
It's a very brief synopsis.
I was expecting more.
Now, it is an Air Bud movie. However, no Air Bud to be found.
Correct.
Which is very disappointing. I was hoping for a cameo.
That would have been nice. Because Air Bud is a golden retriever.
Yes.
And Russell Madness is a Jack Russell Terrier.
Now, there were 5 Air Bud movies where he
5
played with the golden retriever character.
Okay.
There was the first Air Bud movie, basketball playing.
Of course.
Now, I want to give you guys the follow-up sports, and I want to see if you guys can name the pun subtitle.
Now, are
that goes
these
with it.
all also directed by the same director who has done an entire catalog of animal-related movies?
Robert Vince, who directed 18 movies.
With a monkey or a dog, or in this case...
monkeys and
dogs.
It was bound to happen eventually to bring the universe together with all animals.
Homeward Bound, if you will.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what do you want us to do, Lumberjake?
Okay, I got it. He's going to tell us the sport, and we've got to come up with the punny title that they had for the movie.
Can we have an example of one?
Well, Air Bud.
I'll give you the
Air Bud doesn't have a title.
Okay,
It doesn't have
I'll give you the second one because I feel like that's the most well known. That was the football. The football Air Bud was Golden Receiver.
Okay. Was that a real laugh?
It's a real laugh.
Oh my god.
I love it.
It's only getting better.
All right. Okay. Are we going in chronological order,
yes,
or are you just picking?
This
Okay.
is the release.
All right. Okay.
The next one would be World. I just almost gave away the title. It's soccer.
World Pup.
Yes.
All right. All right.
Totally gave that one away.
Good one.
The next one is baseball.
Oh man. Can you give us a hint?
He's
In the dugout.
Ooh, that's a great guess. And can I just say, the real dog was trained in basketball, in soccer, in hockey.
Wait, really?
In baseball.
Legit?
Yes.
I don't believe this at all. What do you mean?
The dog is more
put
athletic than
skates
us.
on? The dog put skates on.
Well, I think he would just hold the stick in his mouth.
No.
As
That's
dogs
adorable.
tend to do.
It's adorable. I'm gonna tap out. What is it? I'm not sure.
7th inning fetch.
Oh.
And then finally,
Okay.
volleyball. This one's a stretch though. So, it's dog-ish. But
Volley tail.
No.
I'm thinking like Dog Days of Summer or something like that.
It's,
something.
Spike's back.
Oh, the dog is Spike.
Yeah, the dog would be. Air Bud.
Wait, so that would mean if he's back, then this is his first movie?
The dog Buddy.
Don't think too much about it.
The dog Buddy was actually found in the Sierra Nevada mountains in 1988 as a stray.
They just found him?
He was a stray dog. The guy that found him trained him to play baseball, soccer, hockey, football, basketball, and chess.
What? Chess? What?
He was on David Letterman's Stupid Pet Tricks. He made an appearance on Full House. And you may remember him as Comet the dog on Full House.
Oh my God.
All right.
I would also like to see him in the chess movies with his name being Checkers.
Okay, I can get behind that. Would he be the president's dog?
Yeah.
It's a period piece.
I'm just grateful that these movies don't have the same backstage turmoil like a Milo and Otis.
Oh, really?
Oh, man.
Although, on a sad note...
I know.
On a sad note, in 1998, Buddy the dog developed cancer, lost his hind leg, and died in his sleep.
Oh, at least he died in his sleep. That's sweet.
Way to bring this podcast down.
But on a positive note, director Robert Vince directed such movies as MVP, Most Valuable Primate,
with Matt LeBlanc.
Yes.
Yeah.
MVP 2, Most Vertical Primate.
Oh, is that like a snowboard one?
That is the snowboarder.
Yes!
MXP, Most Extreme Primate.
Extreme sports?
Rollerblading?
He was, I believe, was skateboarding.
Awesome.
All right.
And then he was also directed Spy Mate, a spy monkey in a tuxedo.
Sounds adorable.
And not a lot of names in this movie. You have a couple, but easily the biggest name in this movie is Crystal the monkey. The monkey in this movie,
the star of the show,
was in the movies George of the Jungle, both Dr. Dolittle movies, as the drunken monkey. American Pie, that was the monkey that was with Blink-182.
Yes.
All of the Night at the Museum movies, The Hangover Part 2, The Zookeeper, and We Bought a Zoo.
This is a pretty famous monkey.
Dr. Ken Jeong said, "She's not a monkey, she's an actor, and possibly the best I've ever worked with."
This actor has more credits than John Morrison.
Dr. Ken Jeong.
Dr. Ken.
He hosted Monday Night Raw. He was in The Hangover.
Oh, gee. Okay, all right.
The Asian that's in every movie.
Yeah, okay. I get you.
How far are we into this? Because we have a lot to talk about.
Well, listen, I'm just saying right now that we could create an entire other podcast of just sports animal movies. Like animal sport movies.
Pass.
I'm just saying.
Pass.
I'm just saying we could easily.
And Dunstan checks in.
Oh,
classic.
I mean, I'll be honest. I haven't seen those other. I have seen MVP, but I can say that I have not seen the other Air Bud movies. So I wasn't really familiar with the universe. That's some fun facts right there.
Thank you. And this Air Bud movie stars a Jack Russell Terrier.
Which makes sense since the lead character is Russell.
Yes.
Although it could have also been named Jack.
But why would you name a Jack Russell Terrier Russell when he's in a giant kennel full of other Jack Russell Terriers?
That is very true. It's very confusing. Unless they're all named Russell.
Well, that would be more confusing.
No.
Yeah, because they keep picking up the one Jack Russell Terrier that pisses in their face.
Right. The one that can't be adopted because he pisses in kids' faces.
So within the first 5 minutes of this movie, a little girl has gotten pissed in the face.
That's true, and one of the first things I wrote down was the awkwardly weird piss trajectory that this dog made toward any... So if a kid picks him up, he's shooting it right in the face.
This is an impossibility.
A grown man is holding him now, and he still has a way to just shoot it right up.
I mean, we made JFK comparisons in Grunt the Wrestling movie. I think that the same comparisons could be made for Russell Madness.
So,
Russell Madness, can we talk about the title for a second?
Okay.
That's not supposed to be the title.
No, I think at least Jake and I were in complete agreement that this movie was definitely originally titled WrestleMania. And received a cease and desist from the WWE.
But we don't know that for sure.
We don't know that for sure. I wasn't able to find anything on it.
This is all speculation. Please don't sue us.
Please.
A good fact for your case would be just the title, not the title, but the logo, which is actually
the
WrestleMania logo with WrestleMania font, and same logo and everything.
It's WrestleMania Star, I believe.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's very clearly designed to be like the WrestleMania logo, and I'm quite sure Jerry McDevitt sent a cease and desist to the producers, because this movie, I'm also going to say that they did some work in post, changing some of the shirts around, because I believe some of the shirts definitely said WrestleMania and were changed to WrestleManiac.
Same thing with the lyrics to one of the songs.
So, I mean, I think it's pretty safe to say that this was originally a straight-up WrestleMania.
Right here on the Conspiracy Podcast on hoobazoo.com.
Also, it's really sad at the very beginning. Russell is literally the only dog not adopted out of that kennel.
You know, I was going to feel bad about that, but one thing I'm going to say is that 10 seconds into the movie, they already spoiled it for us, and they actually told us what would happen in this movie by you know, again, spoiler alert, everybody. The opening of this movie shows a grown man wrestling champion with his tag team championship partner, a Jack Russell Terrier, and it's almost it's told in flashback at that point.
Yes.
And telling the story of what happened. So we already know it's going to be a happy ending.
Spoiler alert, they're all happy.
Right. Everything works out for the best, including a 150-year-old monkey.
And it goes to a point I want to make later on, that this movie can't commit to being too sad for any long amount of time.
No, they
well, it's a kids movie.
Listen, no, I'm going to stop you right there, because if you were a kid from the 80s, Mike Pava, you know that when we went to a movie and it was from the 80s, they tortured you as a kid.
When Artax sunk in the sadness swamp in the Neverending Story.
American Tail was brutal.
Oh, man.
That movie was brutal.
I still get an anxiety attack every time I watch Willy Wonka when I see them floating up after drinking fizzy lifting drink. Every time.
Like, the 80s were harsh for many reasons, but they did not pull punches when it came to kids' movies.
I agree.
And that's why I'm going to say the pussification of America, because now in a fucking Air Bud movie, you have to be like, things are only bad for about 2.5 minutes before we gotta lighten the mood back up again.
Pussification's also the cat spin-off of Air Bud.
I mean, what do you want? What do you want?
I think that those torturous kids movies helped make me a better person. And I think that kids need to toughen up a little bit.
All right.
Yeah, they're not tough enough, if you will.
Fucking shots fired. I'm putting you on blast, kids. Grow up.
And don't listen to our podcast.
Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. You should be in bed.
Go to bed.
No, wait. We shouldn't be telling them to go. Keep listening. Download it and listen to it in the morning.
Download it on your iPad, 6-year-old that shouldn't have a goddamn iPad.
And you can listen to it on the bus, and it'll be cool. And tell all your friends about it.
On hoopbuszoo.com.
So I also need to make mention of the fact that I love the cast of this movie. Beyond the awesome animal actors, and I'm not talking about the goddamn family. I'm talking about Fred Willard, an amazing improv comic.
So hilarious. I feel like it's a take on
Best in Show?
It's definitely Christopher Guest.
How many movies has he done that character in? And it's been more than this one. And
all the Christopher Guest movies, Best in Show, Waiting for Guffman, things like that. He was also the announcer in the Pitch Perfect movies.
That's right. You're right.
He's really good at this one character, but I'm like, I saw him in the credits. I'm like, Fred fucking Willard, are you kidding me? It's awesome.
And also, his partner in this movie, his real name is Charles Robinson.
Okay.
Not
Lil
the
Nate.
Charles
Not
Robinson.
Lil Nate.
Well, I feel
Leslie
like
Uggams.
So I feel like he was a last-minute substitute. I feel like they were trying to get the dad from There's Something About Mary.
Okay.
Oh, she's a fine piece of work.
Fine piece of ass too.
Oh, but John Ratzenberger's in this movie. Another great casting choice in my opinion. Love Cliff Claiborne. You know,
I love their chemistry together.
And I love I also love. I love
our chemistry together, guys.
Aww. I'm okay with it.
Oh,
I really love the chemistry between the two of us.
I love chemistry and making meth. Anyway,
right.
So I also love the fact that John Hennigan, Johnny Mundo is in this movie. Like, I just love the peripheral characters that they brought in for this.
You can't tell me if you were a kid you wouldn't love this fucking movie.
Did I say that?
No, but you're making it seem like if, the pussification of America. I love this movie now, and I would love it even more as a kid.
I'm not saying that I did not love this movie. However,
what do you want, blood and guts?
We got that with Grunt.
Yeah.
No, what I want
There wasn't
is...
enough decapitations for you in this movie?
Well,
there could have been a couple. I'm just saying
dog
that
capitations.
Listen, I love this movie. I really, really enjoyed it. But there's something to be said with the way this movie's presented, where everything is sunshines and rainbows, when there's a lot of adult themes that are trying to push through that they don't explore. That's all I'm saying.
I will say, they tell a great story, though. It's almost an allegory of the McMahon taking over the territories, which I really dig as far as stories go.
And I love the idea that Ferraro's wrestling is, to me, a throwback of like Jack Witchy's Arena.
Right.
And
I was thinking very AWA feeling.
AWA, the Sportatorium in Texas.
But it takes place in Portland, Oregon.
Portland, the great wrestling family from Portland, Oregon.
The Ferraro
you know what? Roddy
wrestling.
Piper
Right.
could have wrestled there in the 80s if
Billy
it was
Jack
Portland.
Haynes. Any of those guys. However, it is a boxing ring when you cut it to the inside.
Yes.
Not great.
Also, even with the talking dog, the empty arena still left in pretty pristine condition, all things considered, after not being touched for 30 years.
And so was the monkey.
Well, we're going to get to the monkey.
This monkey is insane.
But just this pretty well-kept arena, 30 years untouched, just flip the lights on.
Yeah, lights still work.
As the father describes it, mid-century Guido. Is that offensive?
Yes.
Is that
yes,
offensive?
it is. We ask this question at every episode. is that racist? Is that offensive? The answer is usually
the
yes.
answer is always yes.
Now, the stipulation is they need to turn a profit in 1 year, and then they can sell the building.
Well, yeah, so Rich, they wanted to flip it.
Well, the best part is that the dad wants to flip it.
Right.
The mom is super psyched to have a wrestling arena, and she's like the most positive, excited. Like I've been, the women that come into wrestling are very far and few between, but this woman actually seems to really dig the idea of wrestling in general, and that's a
red flag.
Huge red flag.
Red flag.
Divorce her right now. She's
Run.
a rat.
She's taking the business.
But it was just
they uprooted the family from San Diego.
Right.
And it's a huge gamble.
Huge gamble. But she's pretty positive about it. She can make it work. And when she sees that broken down sewing machine, she's like, oh, I've been waiting for something like this.
Well,
and then when she sees the little monkey costume and goes, this must have been a tiny wrestler.
So do you want to talk about the monkey?
I want to talk about one thing first. You have the father we said that came in and said he wanted to flip it. But wasn't he that was younger and was around this when he was a kid?
Yes.
And so like this, he has attachment to this, and he was still ready to.
But he left.
Right.
Well, his father left. It was the grandfather Maximilian.
Right.
It was his grandfather, and then after.
Oh, so that's his so that for young Max.
Yes,
that's his great grandfather.
Right.
Okay, that actually connects a few bits to the story for me. Okay.
Yeah. Because he had the little action figure that the real maniac gave him, and then
which I had this kind of low level theory that maybe the grandfather's soul has inhabited the action figure.
I would 100% agree with that, because if you notice throughout the movie, the action figure is reacting with the monkey.
Yes, exactly.
And the monkey insists on the action figure being talked to like a real person.
He talks to the monkey talks to the action figure.
And also does the Jack Russell Terrier.
And when the mom says specifically, I still feel like your grandpa is here.
Yes.
In the very beginning of the movie, when the mom finds the action figure, we were led to believe that maybe the monkey left it there.
Yes.
Right.
Okay.
But now I'm thinking.
But now maybe it's the spirit of the grandfather in there that.
I 100%. That's been my at first before we got the backstory on the monkey, I was almost gonna say that the monkey was being inhabited by the grandfather. Mm-hmm. But once we learned the real backstory for the monkey, I took it that it has to be the action figure. There's something more going on with that figure. And again, in a movie with a talking dog and a talking monkey, it's not that preposterous.
I think it's an underlying concept that they never really get into, but I 100% believe that's the case.
But beyond the fact that we did learn that there was some scientific experiments done on the monkey originally, I am also positing the fact that maybe all reincarnated people are reincarnated into animals.
Okay.
In this universe.
Okay. I'm not saying.
Well, not only animals, but apparently inanimate figures, inanimate objects.
Maybe this is also the universe that Toy Story's in. Maybe that's where the Toy Story animal.
Also, if you notice when they're doing the experiments on the monkey, the black scientist has a giant afro hair. So I am guessing that's in the 70s. So they're showing this monkey is immortal because at the beginning of the movie, at the flash forward,
which we can now say because this is at least a 30-year-old man,
exactly,
celebrating with his now however old dog,
right,
and this hundreds of years old monkey.
How long do monkeys live?
8 years.
8.
I don't know, but we're basically saying this monkey's at least 120 years old.
He's really old.
This is a very old monkey that can speak, has learned to speak.
Can only speak to certain when he wants to have people hear him. Correct? Is that
he doesn't want to be found out.
He learned how to talk human during his scientific
as long as
experiments.
many other languages.
Yes,
apparently.
he can speak pachyderm, dog, giraffe.
Obviously, dog.
Of course, dog.
Mikey, I when we were watching this movie together, I did ask you if you knew who the voice was. Did you figure out who it was?
I didn't figure it out on my own.
You read, okay.
I read it, and...
on Reddit.
So he was actually the first professional wrestler in the movie, Will Sasso.
Do you think he got the role
true.
for his past affiliation with wrestling?
I think he's a legitimate big wrestling fan. I know that to be
he's
true.
definitely a big name, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, for what they're...
for this movie, right?
He's appeared in WWF,
WCW,
WCW, Mad TV.
Right.
He's done it all.
He's done everything you could possibly want to do.
He wrestled Bret Hart.
He did wrestle Bret Hart. He got double-crossed by Deborah Wilson. I know. Spoiler alert.
Oh,
Spoiler
I'm sorry
alert.
about that.
That's right. I was waiting for it.
Oy vey.
So the monkey.
monkey.
we meet the monkey who's been hanging out in this empty arena for 30 years.
A monkey named Hunk. Monkey.
Hunky Monkey.
What has he been eating this whole time?
Bananas.
God damn it. God damn the banana puns.
So many banana puns.
Killed me. They were killing me. I do want to do a supercut of all the banana jokes. I'm going to need to rip the audio from that.
They say banana 16 times in this movie, which doesn't seem like a lot.
I feel like it's more.
It feels like it's because they get less creative. They're just jamming bananas in there.
So one thing that I did write down, because the family's living in this empty arena, because they left San Diego, they have no home, so they're all living in this empty arena. And one thing I wrote down was that in any other situation, this is basically the plot of a horror movie. This is Shining, basically. Like, the little kid's exploring, he's seeing something, and all of a sudden there's, this weird noise.
And it's always, the younger kid that figures...
That little blonde girl saw the monkey first.
Exactly, so you think she's crazy.
I'm only 6.
Why don't you act when are you going to grow up? I'm only 6.
Burn!
I wrote down burn.
In capital letters with 3 exclamation points.
Burn.
We while we're getting introduced to the Ferraro family, we're doing quick cutbacks to Russell.
Russell,
who the voice of Russell is the kid from the Goldbergs.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
All right. So we got to cut back over to Pet Utopia, where we're seeing that Russell still is pissing on people.
Yeah. Why would you keep picking him up like that? If you know what's going to happen, just face him the other way.
Then he's going to shit on you.
But he's got a tail. It'll go down.
It's going to be messy either way.
I guess.
And then we're kind of introduced to the 2 Pet Utopia employees. One is, I believe, is Daryl.
Yeah,
what's his name?
I don't know, but he was a terrible actor. I'm just throwing that out
there. He actually might be an employee. He might be a dog wrangler. He might actually just might be his job. And we're introduced that basically he was going to adopt Russell because no one else would adopt him.
Because he was going to go to the pound.
And he
comes, not the pound.
Right. And he comes with a huge certificate.
Okay, I'm going to give you an example. You gave me a great spark of an idea, Mikey. If this was a movie from the 80s, they would have actually brought Russell to the pound, and there would have been a scene of showing a dog getting brought to the death machine.
Yes.
And, think of Beethoven. Think about Beethoven and the hardcore shit that Beethoven went through.
Oh my god, the science. the scientist scene in Beethoven when he squirts himself with blood and stuff, it's the most horrifying.
Right. So think about that. Like any other, like if this was a movie from the 80s, they would have definitely shown that scene and then Russell runs away.
Yeah, absolutely. That would happen.
Like that would have been a plot point.
But no.
He just runs away.
Drop kicks.
Yes, he does his first wrestling move.
His big move.
The Russell Tussle.
The Russell goddamn tussle.
Spoiler alert, that's what they name it. And I still don't like it.
It should be the Russell dropkick.
Or the dog kick.
So we were getting ready. Right at this point, the Ferraros, the husband and wife, I don't actually know their first names. I didn't actually bother to learn them.
I knew them, but I quickly forgot them.
Good job, guys.
They weren't important enough to the film for me to have their names. And they are now calling wrestlers on the phone, trying to book them.
Local wrestlers from around the area.
And
Dieter Das Muten.
He contacted Dieter and was trying to get him booked, but basically John Ratzenberger's character, he bought out all the other territories in the 80s. He owns wrestling now.
And his wrestling company is called the WUF, the Wrestlers United Federation, or WOOF.
And so now all the wrestlers, basically Dieter tells them straight out, I'm booked with Ratzenberger, and
I don't want to be blacklisted.
No,
exactly. To which the wife replies, blacklisted? You know.
She should, and she's actually running the whole show because she's telling the dad what to say. Like, she should be running this entire company at this point.
And then, just a quick stroke of genius, in a way I feel like she's done many times before, jumps on the Craigslist personal ads and types in wrestlers, Oregon, and they find their wrestlers, apparently.
Apparently, just throwing that off on Craigslist will get you a lot of talent.
But I feel
questionable talent.
But we are skipping over the flashback scene to a time called the 80s.
Well, that's kind of all. Like that kind of establishes Ratzenberger's character. He's wearing a Michael P.S. Hayes wig.
Yes.
He's clearly modeled kind of after. I guess he's going for it's not technically Vince McMahon, even though he ended up buying out all the talent.
The real reason I want to bring up the flashback is for Butts the Clown.
Butts the fucking clown. Holy shit.
A clown with a giant ass.
A humongous ass. And Butts the Clown takes a snapmare
and bounces
out of the ring on his ass. A la Rob Van Dam spot.
Very Rob Van Dam-esque.
I actually would be surprised if that was Rob Van Dam under the makeup.
That would make a lot of sense.
I would have preferred an atomic drop.
Okay. I would have liked that. And he does a Ted DiBiase.
Yeah. I mean, he can still go ass over the ropes, but you know.
Il Maniac, as I believe that's Italian.
Yeah,
Fragile.
Was that the convict wrestler?
No. Il Maniac is the main hero.
Oh, right. Okay.
And he was former NXT signee Nick Rogers.
Oh,
yeah.
Fun fact.
Never really did anything, so whatever.
Who?
But exactly. Okay. So let's get to the wrestling match.
Okay, well, so the reintroduction after using Craigslist, really fine Apple product placement where every time they're at the computer, the big Apple logo is sticking around.
Prominent.
You got to get paid. And we see at this point that Russell.
Is that all we got to do, guys? We have to
we have to sell ourselves out.
Throw it in there.
Sponsored by Skybar.
That's right.
And so at this point, we see that Russell has somehow made it all the way into the alleyway behind Ferraro's wrestling.
Right.
Where we're introduced to the second wrestler of the movie, the British Bulldog.
Yes.
This Cockney British Bulldog.
Who's upset that Russell is on his turf.
I've got low blood sugar.
It sounded just like you, too.
That's how I talk. When I get really, really low blood sugar, I start talking in a Cockney British accent.
Now, I want to know what paradise is this alley in with bulldogs and Jack Russell Terrier puppies and monkeys?
And wrestling?
This is the best place ever. I'm moving to Portland after this podcast. This is our last podcast, guys. I'm very sorry.
And Mikey,
how are you going to get there?
I'm going on the Oregon Trail.
He doesn't realize that he thinks he's going to Portland, Maine. He thinks that's where...
yeah, it's a lot further
Portland, Maine.
So we get introduced to the Bulldog, who is a big bully.
Of course.
Bully dog.
A bully dog, if you will.
And we see that Hunk has basically shown up to kind of give his sage. That's the thing. He's kind of like the Mr. Miyagi of this film. Just
a Mr. Me monkey, if you will.
Yeah, giving that sage advice in wisecracking banana pun way.
Because after he saves him, he goes, "It's banana time. I got to split." See, that was the most clever of all the banana puns that happened.
Was it?
Just letting you know. Yes, and they only go downhill. So
at some point now, we're cutting back into the first wrestling show at Ferraro's Wrestling in like 30 years. Vic Weiss was one of the guys in the ring.
He had a prisoner gimmick.
Yeah, that guy. There's nobody in the crowd. There's
it's like an
three
NCW
people.
show.
Yep.
There's like
10
people.
There's like 30 people, but it's a hot 30.
Yeah,
they're really
hot. Yeah.
And this leads to one of my favorite back and forths between the announcers. He's back from a sabbatical at Penn State, and then Fred Willard retorts with, "I think that's State Penn."
Love Fred Willard. That's probably he did all his lines improv. I would guarantee.
He always does. Also, you don't want to see him. He's not wearing pants underneath the booth either.
No, he's
dirty old man Fred Willard.
He was arrested for that, by the way.
Just FYI. That happened in the theater.
We're very topical.
Pee Wee Hermaned him. Vic Weiss throws the referee out of the ring. Fred Willard says, and it looks like he's been fully rehabilitated.
So then we cut back. We're introduced to the surfer. What's the surfer's name?
Brady Malibu.
Brady Malibu, bruh.
Surfer, swimsuit model, wrestler. What's the difference, right?
Oh, there's a very big difference,
as
Mr. Ferraro's trying to explain.
Well, that's what you get when you get your wrestlers from Craigslist.
Good point. Fair point.
We should stop getting our wrestlers from Craigslist.
We should start getting our wrestlers from
right?
Craigslist.
I don't know. He wanted $300 to wrestle Vic Weiss.
That's a little steep.
Yeah. Craigslist, I don't know what's going on in the Portland Craigslist scene, but $300. That's BG East money.
Brady Malibu gets
It was just a
there.
bestiality front.
BG bestiality.
Oh, jeez, deep cuts. Once the match gets going, though, it's not a bad match at all. I think they work their gimmicks well. He does a surfboard, and he does a little hang 10.
Oh, again, I'm going to say right off the bat, like when we're comparing this to the other movies we've watched, it blows Body Slam's wrestling
Body
matches out of the
Slam's
water.
wrestling was the worst so far.
I'm still going to say that Grunt tops it, but this is definitely second right behind it as far as the action.
There was some good spots in this movie too.
Absolutely, and I'm almost positive most of these guys are independent wrestlers and different things, so they know what they're doing.
Later on in the Four Corners match, two of the guys in there are actually the Bollywood boys that are currently in the Cruiserweight Classic going on right now in the WWE Network.
So the Surfer Boy gets knocked out of the ring. He doesn't want to get back in there with Vic Weiss.
Right.
And we're intercutting now to see what's going back on in the alley because for some reason a nice chef comes and brings out a nice steak for Russell.
A nice T-bone steak.
No, he already brought out the T-bone steak, leading to the Bulldog coming the first
He brought
time.
another piece of meat out and dropped it in front of him right before, and the Bulldog came back out again.
No, he got a sausage.
Oh, the sausage.
Sausage.
All right, you're right. It was the sausage.
Yep.
But also they're splicing in Fred Willard's asking, what have you been up to the last quarter century? To which his partner goes, I became a chimney sweep.
and pulls out the sweep.
And he pulls out the sweep and he's like, you need a lot of things, like a boring tool. When an old man yells, you're a boring tool!
Basically, Russell shows off some more of his awesome moves. And does like a 360.
He does a full somersault.
This is when he's going after he's being chased by the Bulldog, which ends up running down the stage and into the ring.
And everybody's just like, a dog?
What?
And Fred Willard was told by the kids just to keep it going no
Whatever
matter
happens,
what.
Just
go with it.
So now the commentators are treating it as is. They're just like, now there's a dog in the ring. Let's see what
Brady
we can
Malibu
take on.
with a dog?
And go get the dog. The dog's kind of wiggling his way all around, and we get to finally see what Russell can do in the ring.
Well, Hunk
and the whole world gets to see as well.
Hunk the Monkey did drop a banana peel, causing him to slip.
You're right.
Which it brings up another point that we said throughout this entire movie while watching it. All the heroes act like heels in this movie and everything they do in the ring.
100%.
They cheat nonstop.
Which is a common theme throughout pretty much all the movies we've done so far.
True.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
Fair.
This dog wins the match by choking out Vic Vice.
Yes.
And then they take the dog in. I would not want a dog that can strangle anywhere near my children. That just seems dangerous.
Well,
to me.
one of the children actually records it on her phone and uploads it to YouTube or whatever, fictitious.
No,
yes.
it's YouTube.
It actually is YouTube.
They
All right.
They don't care. They're just name dropping everything.
That's cool. So she uploads it to YouTube, and the dog is an instant star. It goes viral.
Russell faints upon winning the match because the mom says he's been malnourished. He's been eating sausages and steaks, malnourished.
Also, he was gone maybe, a day from Pet Utopia?
He was homesick.
He was getting full meals at Pet Utopia.
I don't know about that.
No, he was.
He was the only dog in the kennel. Why
He
wasn't
got all the food.
There was only...
No, there's a shot where they shut all the lights off at the end of the night, and he's all by himself with no food and nothing to eat.
Well, stop pissing on people.
Well, it was actually him and one Pomeranian, and I'm thinking, what did that bitch do?
So, at this point, Hunk reveals himself... Well, he's already revealed himself to Russell, but he's offered to take Russell in, and now he's decided to reveal himself to the family. Now, I don't know about you guys, but watching this, the family seemed incredibly okay with the talking monkey.
Totally fine with the talking monkey. And then they were still going to bring Russell to the pound.
Right. They weren't going to bring him at that point because once Dad found out how much money he could make off of Russell, he was like,
greedy motherfucker.
No, he's going to be here on Thursday. And then the 6-year-old was like, Dad, I thought you said he was going to go to the pound on camera, on microphone.
He's like, shut up, you don't even know what nostalgic is.
He's like, shut up, you're only 6.
You called it nostalgic, you dummy.
But these people just did not even bat an eyelash over the fact that the monkey could talk.
And they don't even bring obviously we mentioned before that the father was a kid when this he loved
he
was around
too.
the monkey. He was around all this stuff,
and
but why didn't he?
Yeah, when they were in bed and they heard him initially call them, he goes, "I know that voice."
Right.
So he must have known the monkey.
And he did. This was Peter Pan syndrome, where he then mentioned the fact he goes,
he thought
I thought it was
right.
Like, no, that was just my imagination.
He thought it was a figment of, or an invisible friend.
Yes.
What do you call that?
I had
imaginary friend.
Yeah. No. I mean,
never had one.
Yeah.
I did.
Did you really?
I had a peacock.
Wait,
what?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, no.
Whoa.
We need this.
Pause the podcast.
Pause.
Pausecast.
All right, I'll turn it off.
Okay. What?
You had a peacock.
As an imaginary friend.
My imaginary friend was a peacock.
What was his name?
Mr. Peacock.
I do not believe this.
You can ask my mom. She'll tell you that. I don't see what's so crazy about this.
Mr. Peacock.
Mr. Peacock.
That's also Mike Pava's original wrestling name.
Did you actually see the peacock?
Yes.
What? Did it talk?
Well, no, it was a peacock.
You just...
Was it like a real peacock or like a cartoon peacock?
No. I mean, in my mind, it was a real peacock. Like it was not cartoon peacock. That'd be silly. It was just a regular Mr. Peacock. Just would hang out with me, and we'd But I don't.
I didn't know this about you. I consider you one of my best friends, and I've never known this about you.
Really?
Does this change our friendship?
No, it
explains your love of NBC.
Listen, the more you know.
Oh my god!
Fun
facts,
yeah,
folks.
Fun
JC.
facts. Okay. Let's go back to the podcast.
My god! I need.
This is all. Not to drag this on any further, but I will say now this is the second time on this podcast that we've talked about peacocks since Dirk Benedict was a peacock dressed up.
That's right.
Can we splice in that peacock?
Call back.
Splicey. Okay, so moving on from my totally okay and not weird at all imaginary friend, Mr. Peacock.
All right.
Where
are we at?
Okay, I'll tell you where we're at. We're at the WrestleMania song.
Okay,
all
yeah,
right.
because there's nothing like an Air Bud movie without a nice montage, and you gotta have the wrestle.
There's nothing like a three-way theater without a titular song.
I love titular songs. I like big titular songs.
Of course you do.
So, Jake, why don't you hit us with your bomb here?
Okay, here we go.
All right.
WrestleMania. Gonna be the champion. Internet sensation. WrestleMania. Working out to the bone. Work it, now feel it, now work it to the bone. Russell's got muscle that are hard as stone. Gonna be the dog on top, training hard, and he won't stop. Tell everyone now, write that blog. He won't be beat, he's one hard dog. Russellmania. You can make it, just don't fake it. Show your true grit, but put it all on the line. Let nothing stop you. Think what you do. Chance of a lifetime. Russellmania.
Fun fact: this song was performed by Sha-Na-Na. That is not true.
Not true. Not
If we
true.
could get Sha-Na-Na to do this song, that would be amazing.
Live version.
Yeah.
And American Way.
We need to get a band that can just redo all these songs for us.
Chinstrap.
Pass. But so during this montage, we get to see the training of Russell, Hunk helping him out. Also, Hunk sleeping with the kids in bed, which I found to be very uncomfortable. Because again, we've established at this point he's like a 70-year-old monkey at this point.
Yeah. Also, Hunk has taken over the role of trainer.
Yes.
And I guess manager for
because
Russell.
Max was like, "Will you train me too?"
Well, he was
Right.
the manager for Maximiliano, too.
And can you guess what he wants to get paid for his
let
services?
me guess. Bananas.
That's right.
Bananas and some banana popsicles, and he is happy.
Oh, god damn it. Which you feel at this point, like, Hunk's really kind of taking advantage of Russell. Because Russell doesn't want those things.
No, he doesn't care anything about
He
bananas.
just wants a family.
Yeah, remember he goes, you have to negotiate for a family? And Hunk goes, technically no, but everything's a negotiation.
So Hunk's kind of a piece of shit,
He
right?
absolutely
He's a
is.
swindler.
He's a schwindler.
David Schwimler.
Yeah, she's a schwindler. He's on a bicycle. Schwinn bicycle.
After this entire montage, we get to see kind of
Another wrestling scene.
another wrestling scene.
We have a four corners match featuring a mummy, a pirate, a random indie guy, and a caveman.
Yes. Now, again, I mean, the wrestling is wrestling. It's okay. It's not bad. I'm more interested during the weird, like, clear cuts to, like, CGI dogs and, like... it's all very bizarre to watch a wrestling dog. Like,
I was also more bothered when the turnbuckles would interchangeably
yes.
switch between a turnbuckle and a springboard.
And a
for the
springboard
dog.
that I believe the real dog was standing on
Yes.
for a moment.
Yes,
So
he was.
they had that on there, and then when it came to make the quick cut, it was back to a
Turnbuckle.
turnbuckle.
I
Really
appreciated
large
it.
Turnbuckles, by the way.
I appreciated it for them just not trying. Like, I just said, like, just accept it for what it is.
Yeah.
Like, so respect.
It's like wrestling. Suspend your belief.
We then get to meet Birdie the building inspector.
Yeah, because they are within one payment of making a profit, and then they can sell that building, but they just broke even. And then Birdie shows up because he refuses to sell Russell to John Ratzenberger.
So do we... this is pretty clear, but I just want to get your take.
John Ratzenberger
Called the building inspector?
Yeah, there's zero question.
So
about
here's
that.
the thing. Then is John Ratzenberger the hero of this movie? Because that building was severely out of code.
She was...
The worst.
No, she
was
was
right
right about everything.
She was right!
However,
but-
she should not have been setting everything off.
No,
Right.
So nobody's right, but she's definitely not wrong in shutting the building down. She was electrocuted, she was slimed, she blasted herself in the face with a fire extinguisher. They now need to... And then once he has to sign everything over to John Ratzenberger in order to pay, he signs with him.
Well, so he has to make a deal with the
Blindly.
devil because there's no way that he can bring the building up to code without selling out.
Exactly.
So Hunk is warning him. Although, again, I feel like Hunk's doing it in his own self-interest, not for the good of the family. But Hunk's not wrong either.
No.
That Ratzenberger is clearly going to screw them over at some point.
It's all about the bananas, baby.
It's all about them. He's not monkeying around either.
So the evil alliance is basically set in stone.
Yeah.
And Ratzenberger already has a huge marketing line push ready for it.
He's got action figures, he's got toys.
And we get to see we get to see the next montage of action.
Well, they fix up the house, or they fix up the building rather.
Building/house because they live in it.
Yeah, they the building inspector blasts the fire extinguisher and then hangs it back on the wall. That needs to be replaced. Once you pull that pin, you need to replace the fire extinguisher.
Which is why I say she's the worst.
Well, she's the worst, but she's also she was right. She was right.
Sure, but the building's been abandoned for 30 years. Of course there's going to be stuff wrong with it.
No, but she got electrocuted very badly just from flipping the light switch, and then got completely slimed from the sprinkler system, which didn't go off. Very dangerous.
She was standing in a bucket of water when she turned the electric on.
Very much like Problem Child.
Yes.
And she got electric powers like Ernest, and Ernest goes to jail.
But cut to the montage. He's on the road.
Yeah, so Mr. Ferraro and Hunk go with Russell. The kids and the wife stays behind because they have to live their life. And
they're on tour, guys.
Well, they're on tour.
And everyone wants something for them to be home for. The son, his birthday. The daughter, Easter, because she wants Russell to help her find Easter eggs. Cheating. And then the wife wants to celebrate the anniversary, which is coming up.
And the kids, although during the montage, because they're all on the iPad saying, "Hey, hi," they're FaceTiming.
And then the best birthday I've ever seen in the wrestling ring. They're all wearing sumo suits, having the time of their life.
And they got cardboard cutouts
of the dad, of Russell, and the monkey.
And they're having the best time ever.
The best time I've ever seen. More fun than I've ever seen in my life.
They get to the airport after their tour, and those kids immediately turn the dime and start acting like dicks.
Immediate attitudes, even though they had how quickly we forget. How
are you
the
kidding
only
me?
person with any right is the mom, is the wife, the mom, whatever you want to call her. It's her anniversary.
He actually returns on their anniversary.
She has a nice dinner set up in the ring. Candlelit dinner.
But Ratzenberger is saying, you got to do the business. You need to come with us.
They had to do a signing, and it went long.
Guys, real quick.
Yeah.
We're forgetting about the costume montage.
How does the dog do a signing,
skipped over
though?
With his paw.
Put a little. Actually, that's genius.
Yeah.
Paw.
Yeah.
But the costume montage.
The costume montage, well, that was kind of in the first montage where
they dressed him up like a bee.
Oh, yeah.
They dressed him up like a dinosaur.
I'm just a sucker for costume
Think
montages.
Think of Pretty Woman. Think of every montage
ever where that's
ooh,
no, yeah, just like every single costume montage.
And actually, I did love the costumes in this movie because they had a very retro feel.
The monkey had a million costumes.
Yeah,
very old school carnival, carny type of outfits. I liked them. I definitely liked the costume design work in this movie.
So he wrestles his matches. He's going up for the okay. After being so regretful of being late for the anniversary dinner, he says, "I'll retire once we win the belt. We'll go out on top." That is bullshit. He's gonna win the title and then retire? That's bogus.
Well, at least he won't keep the title for 6 years while being presumed dead.
And while being decapitated.
So we finally meet the Hammer. And I had been waiting for the Hammer to show up in this movie because now we're about an hour into the movie. It's only an hour and a half.
Hammer down.
And Hammer, who's played by
John Morrison, Johnny Mundo, John Hennigan, whatever you want to call him.
Now we meet them at a weigh-in.
Yes.
Where Russell weighs in at 25 pounds. He was the runt of the litter. He was the smallest of all the dogs.
There's no way he's 25 pounds.
A Jack Russell Terrier weighs between 14 and 18 pounds. Not a chance.
He's taken steroids.
Not a chance he weighs 25 pounds.
He's on the juice,
now,
brother.
Was he on the juice back in Pet Utopia?
He's on the juice.
Now, Felix the Hammer Monroe weighs 255 pounds. John Morrison weighs 211 pounds. So everyone's...
all these gimmicked weights.
They had to make the joke because he had to be 10 times larger than his opponent.
Right.
By the way, they completely changed the rules of wrestling for this dog.
Yeah.
The dog gets to pin people by standing on their back.
Well, no, they're knocking him out. He's knocked out.
That was the sleeper
That's
finish.
TK.
Where the guy looks like he's making his own 3 count.
Yes.
Right, but at least we can say that he was knocked out. It wasn't a pinfall.
He pinned the mummy after spinning him drop kicking him and standing on top of him.
Actually,
That was a normal
the
thing.
first pinfall that Jack Russell got was against the Mongoloid.
Oh, there was also a smart mark in the crowd with a "Go Mongol" sign.
He loves Mongoloid McMichael.
Loves him.
It's his favorite of the horsemen.
And we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about the Hammer Down song.
I love, which again is a ripoff of AC/DC.
Thunderstruck.
100%.
Hammer down! It was terrible.
Morrison flat out refuses to job, which is really the behind the curtain moment
Right.
of this movie,
But
because
then-
the Ferraros are treating this all like a shoot.
But then John Ratzenberger writes him a bigger check, and Hunk sees that happening, and he tries to warn them, but he's trying to fix it in his favor. It's not
Right.
like he's going to get hurt. He's going to win the belt, so what does he care?
Hunk's just a piece of shit, is what I'm trying to get at.
Ring announcer Joseph Gordon-Levitt announced both guys coming to the ring.
I love Joey Gordon-Levitt.
Was this when Russell had the good music or the awful music?
This was like his rap music. He
Yeah,
came
this
out
is terrible.
because this was in the WUF arena,
Uh-huh.
and it was like super overproduced. Although
Yeah.
I did love the entranceway; that was pretty awesome.
It looked fantastic.
But it was definitely the weird rap music. Like this was corporate Russell.
This was like Stone Cold when he was in the
Corporate
Alliance.
This
Okay.
was this was corporate Russell.
Yeah.
Where like he's sold his soul
Right.
to be with Ratzenberger's group. The Ferraros don't realize this, except for Hunk, who's trying to get played in his own favor. The match itself, Russell kind of kicks the shit out of
Beats
Morrison
him up, ties his feet together
until
he's down on the mat, and Russell is just showboating.
yeah, he didn't go for the pin when we were all saying, "Go for the pin, Russell, go for the pin."
But he wasn't. He was just jumping up and down like a dog.
And then we go ahead and he pulls out the
dog whistle.
That's right, the ultimate heel move.
I'm gonna play it right now for everybody.
Dogs everywhere going
Yep,
insane.
the dogs just
barking like
all our
crazy.
dogs that
Daisy
listen
Marks
to this
Loomis is going
podcast.
nuts.
We have a very dog-friendly demographic.
We do. We have
so
a big dog market here.
Yes.
Here on the Petco podcast on Hoobazoo.com.
We're sponsored by Pet Utopia.
So, real heel move there, which is really, I feel like Russell's finally getting his just desserts because he was a heel this entire movie.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
And
So Russell gets his first defeat,
yes, he loses he doesn't get the title.
right?
And initially, Ratzenberger's very upset, but John Morrison explains, hey, now we can do a rematch. And John Ratzenberger's like, yeah, we can charge the sponsors twice as much. Who would pay to see a rematch? You just beat him in the initial match. No rematch needs to happen.
Clearly, the WWE bookers were telling the story.
He has his rematch clause.
And after that, they try to take Russell home, take him away from all of this.
And Ratzenberger stops him.
Oh no, you think that's your dog. That's our dog. And he takes the dog.
Right. And this is also when the kid, young Ferraro, basically Max learns that wrestling's fake.
Yes.
Which, again, you're working behind the scenes in a wrestling promotion. Your father and your grandfather have been in the business
He didn't smarten him up.
Well, I don't know. The girl, I feel like the daughter knew.
She did seem
She's
to know.
6.
So now Ratzenberger, the WUF, they own Russell.
And you know what? That's how it should be. Russell belongs in the WUF. It's called the WUF.
But and I actually just looked, it's actually Derek from Pet Utopia.
Derek from Pet
He was
Utopia.
watching
Yeah,
the
you
match.
said Daryl. That's very racist.
Why is that? It was a D name. What if I said his name was Dennis?
That's not racist.
Dennis is not racist.
Why is Never mind. I'm not going to get into this with you.
Oh, by the way, I started a stopwatch. The amount of time between Russell being taken away from them, it was 6 minutes and 14 seconds that they were separated from the family. That's all this whole movie could handle. 6 minutes this dog is away from the family.
So
Hey, that's a long time in an hour-and-a-half movie.
for a dog, it's like 2 years. I actually don't know anything about. Anyway, so
dogs age like the movie Jack. That's our next movie. We did Russell. Now we're doing Jack.
and then I can't wait to do Terrier. And during those 6 minutes, Derek from Pet Utopia shows up at the Ferraro compound, basically revealing that he adopted
Right.
Russell.
And he brought his giant certificate.
Hey guys, he pulls it out, rolls it out,
Unfurls it.
Which makes the contract null and void.
Well, because but while this is going on, and now the Ferraros are planning on going back with their giant, comically oversized adoption agreement. Hunk and Max have decided to go break out Russell on their own.
Yeah, they did not confer with the parents. Terrible move.
Hunk finally reveals what a piece of shit that he is, and he hugs Max.
Aw.
After not hugging for
He
the entire
refused to
movie.
touch. He's like, no touching.
Yep.
He's like in Arrested Development over here. No touching.
No touching.
And then he goes and finally gives him the embraced hug, even though he's been sleeping in his goddamn bed at night.
Right.
Like, he's like, only cuddling, no hugging. So the kid and the monkey go for their own breakout heist.
Then they break him out.
Very easily.
Yes.
Using a banana as a gun.
God damn it.
Making it look like his shadow on the wall, that the monkey was bigger than what he really was.
Yeah,
which
now-
is the trick that he did at the beginning of the movie with
Right.
the British Bulldog.
Yeah,
Which
but now,
totally looked real and not like a puppet.
Not like a puppet at all.
Yeah, but now it kind of looks like Uncle Frank in the shower in Home Alone 2, Lost in New York.
Yep.
When he was using the blow-up puppet in the shower.
Yes.
That monkey at times really creeped me out in this movie. Like,
You said that a couple times while we were watching.
some close-up shots really reminded me of the werewolf people, like that you see.
Yeah, in the Mexican villages.
Yeah, they have hair all over their face. Ugh.
Yeah, but it was so cute. Now he's gonna write a book, 101 Things to Do with a Banana.
Ugh. So annoying.
Okay, so John Ratzenberger tries to stop them, shows them the adoption papers.
Derek shows up. Goes, wait, look at this.
And his lawyer goes, "There's nothing we can do. The contract's null and void."
Just glancing at it for a half a second.
Vague adoption
like-
papers.
No, this is totally legit. This will hold up in any court of law, including pet court.
Now, John Ratzenberger claims that he still owns the arena.
Right, that is true. So,
But he never turned a profit, so he had no right to sell the arena.
That's
he
very
legally
true.
could not sell that arena, so there's no way John Ratzenberger can own it.
but luckily, the parents are kind of idiots. So they feel like, okay, fine, take the arena. We don't care. But nope, Max says no way.
I'll put Russell's whole life on the line against the arena.
Yeah, like, man, unnecessarily, like, putting everything on the line.
I
He also put his 6-year-old sister on the line.
the son was he was planning on selling the arena at the beginning of the movie anyway. Why give up the dog?
That's an awesome point.
Good point, Lumberjake.
So this brings us to the epic grudge match, the main event.
A tag team match for some reason.
Which again, the one thing I will say, which this kind of bothers me about Body Slam, is that they do treat these shows like one-match shows.
Yeah.
One thing that we did point out with Grunt was that we love the preliminary bouts.
Yeah, they had several matches
Like-
before the main events.
It's like everybody's just showing up for this one match.
Right.
Also, I'd love to know what their promotion is like, because they immediately packed in the Ferraro Arena.
Well, once the dog became viral, everyone was going to see the wrestling
A lot
dog.
of our wrestlers are viral. No,
Yeah,
they have viruses.
At the beginning of the movie, the son had to bribe his fellow classmates with hot dogs in order to show up.
That's
It's
true.
like, hey, you guys want free hot dogs? Like, yeah, okay, all right.
That was one subplot I'm kind of glad they didn't expand upon. Like, I had thought that these were going to be his new best pals.
No, they just showed up for free hot dogs at the wrestling shows.
Yeah, and then they're just used as extras sitting in the crowd for the rest of the movie, which I'm actually thrilled with. And, like, I had really expectations that this was going to be Max learning to get new friends and everything else, then having to choose between his new friends and the dog, which I thought was going to be a subplot of the movie, so I'm kind of glad that
never happened. That would have been too sad for this movie.
Yeah, we can't have that happen. You can't have the kids be sad.
But you know what you can have? The kids get suplexed.
That's true. Good point. So while this is going on, they set it up to be a Grudge tag team match in some way.
For some reason.
I think they just wanted to bring Dieter out, which I get.
Yeah.
Although I feel like in that case, you should have made John Morrison Dieter. Like,
Yeah.
that would have made more sense to me.
No, he was Felix the Hammer Monroe.
Which, again, I love. And so it's Dieter and Felix versus what's going to be Russell and the dad.
Right.
The dad is getting ready. He's getting into gear.
The dad, whatever his name may be.
Mr. Ferraro.
Yes.
Mr. Ferraro was going to get in there and he was going to do his business. And he's like, I got to go in there. I got to show Max that I can do this. And all while this is going on, Max just puts on his own wrestling gear and goes out for the match.
Because at least
He's
Max has been training.
He's been training too, right?
But it's just no one knows that the match is going on. The heels have already gone out there. Like, he's getting the back, getting ready. And everybody's like, let's just go out there. Like, what?
Very much so. He's like, oh, I think it sounds like the match starts. The mom and Mr. Ferraro run out there, and she runs in the ring and starts hitting him with a purse like Ruth Buzzy during a Dean Martin Friars Club roast.
Listen, he's no Ruth Buzzy here.
Starts whacking away.
The match, again, they're wrestling like heels. The kid and the dog.
He pokes him in the eyes. He rips out his nose hair.
Oh, God, that part.
He ball shots
the
him.
nose hair really gross me
And
out.
he gives him an atomic wedgie.
Yep.
The nose hair was disgusting and horrible, and I hated it so much.
It really freaked me out.
And it was very, overdone.
Yes.
But it was still, you got the effect.
Was it CGI nose hair, or was that real? Like,
That was CGI
that
nose
was
hair.
CGI nose hair.
So they couldn't even get the fake prop.
His nose hair was like a Tootsie Roll thick.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh, man. So...
the dog gets tagged in after the atomic wedgie.
Yes.
It's tagged in against Felix, the Hammer Monroe. They do a drop-down leapdog.
Leapdog! Leapdog!
But then, of course, John Morrison, ever the heel,
Oh, yeah.
busts out the dog whistle, and down goes
Now, I don't want to...
Wishbone.
I don't want to say I called it, boys. But while we were watching
You definitely called it.
It all, to me, total setup. Because all along,
The Watchtower.
Russell had earplugs in.
He had earbuds in.
And in
Earbud!
earbud!
Oh, man! Finally!
Oh, man. Next week.
Here on the Air Bud podcast, we'll be going through all the Air Bud movies.
And the Snow Buddy movies.
So Morrison thinks he's got him down.
Pass.
Goes up the top for Starship Pain.
Yep.
In a brilliant spot.
He's got his back to Russell.
Yeah.
But Russell also has his back to Morrison, so he can't see him coming.
And so the kid
is giving him a countdown.
That's right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolls in. Brilliant move. This dog knows how to work.
Thank God their dog was trained properly.
Good thing he rolled in.
I've seen a couple of bad instances when they've rolled
I
out.
saw one dog, Dog Juan DeSanto, did this big moonsault.
You've been holding on to that one?
Yeah, I've read it.
Baby ain't nothing but mammals.
Well, it is a mammal. It's a dog.
Perfect.
So the Russell and Max win. They are now able to.
They're now. Did they win a belt there?
I don't think they were the tag. Were they tag team champions?
John Morrison was announced as heavyweight champion and an intercontinental champion, so I'm not sure.
I don't feel like a belt was involved in the tag
It
match.
was just about
Bragging rights.
But they did have a belt at the very beginning
just
of the
happy
movie.
that the dog had a belt.
The dog had a tiny little dog
At the
belt
very beginning of the movie.
and the adult
very
version of
Yes.
Maximiliano Jr.
Uh-huh.
Even though he's junior, despite being named after
He's
his
a third.
great-grandfather.
So he's a third.
No, the other ones are not
He would be
named Max.
That's true. I don't think the dad's name Max.
No, the dad said, the son said, "Why did you name me Max?" And the dad said, "Because people named Max are always the best people to have in your corner."
Aww. They're celebrating, and before we jump ahead 30 years, I will say that I love the moment of Johnny Mundo basically getting his soul back by tossing Ratzenberger
Over the top
out of the
rope.
ring and taking a tremendous bump out of the ring.
And the referee going, "You're out of there!"
So, even though if it wasn't for a title, there was a lot on the line.
No, John Ratzenberger was supposed to be the Vince McMahon character, but if you ask me, he looked more like Doc Hendricks.
And I feel like he was playing in the 80s like a Michael P.S. Hayes.
Yes.
I'd say the outfit, the hair. So, I'm trying to think of a contemporary where it was a wrestler turned promoter that because that doesn't exist now. Vince is the only dog in town. I guess dog in town.
Fritz von Erich.
Yeah, Fritz the Dog Von Erich.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, Jeff
Mad
Jarrett.
Dog
I guess the
Vachon?
Jarretts.
Okay.
The Jarretts.
Mad
kinda?
Dog Vachon.
I like that. I like that a lot. So the
Thanks
celebration.
For pulling that back out, Lumby.
I gotcha.
The celebration transition again to 30 years in the future where we started the movie. It all loops around to the beginning where we see that the 120-year-old monkey is still
alive.
there, and Dad's in the ring. I don't know if we saw the mom and daughter again.
No, they passed. Car accident.
If it was,
If it was
an 80s movie,
that would have happened.
it absolutely would have happened. And it would
John
have been,
Ratzenberger would have cut their brakes.
and it would have been the dad reconnecting with his son after losing his wife and daughter. And that would have been a tremendous 80s movie. I would love that movie.
Well, boys, are we going to be wrapping up here?
All right, guys. So
But before we go,
I don't want to go yet.
No. Do we have any final thoughts here?
Well, let's do this.
I love
let's
Russell
do this.
Madness.
What have we learned from this movie?
That you're you can start.
Lumberjake?
Never let a monkey sign your contracts.
All right. I've learned that the best tag team is family.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was
All
gonna
right,
say.
all right.
And I've also learned that monkeys are great at tea parties.
Yes. The monkey tea party where the monkey had a dress on and so did the action figure of the maniac.
I'll tell you what I learned. I think when we started this podcast, I didn't know really what to expect because I've seen a few wrestling movies, but I mean, there's a lot out there. There's a lot that I had no idea about. And I can honestly say that when we decided to do this, I didn't think we'd be watching a movie about a wrestling dog. And I also wouldn't expect to say that I really fucking liked this wrestling dog.
I love this movie so much.
With, again, great soundtrack.
2 paws up.
Good supporting cast. And some good wrestling.
Absolutely. Good wrestling.
I don't know. I was pleasantly surprised. So
far, I think Body Slam would still be the bottom.
Oh, absolutely.
of our favorite list.
Absolutely.
Well,
what do we think about next time?
we'll see if we can keep it up.
Well, here's a little riddle for you.
Okay.
All right. I like riddles.
What do Jimmy Olsen from The New Adventures of Lois and Clark,
Oh, I love that guy.
the oldest son from Home Improvement, Cousin Cody from Step by Step, Lake Bell, Zeus, A Lot of Vagina, Jay Peterman, Alice from The Critic, Donna's dad from That 70s Show, and the short-haired chick from VIP have in common?
I watch them all Monday through Friday on TV.
That and the movie Slammed.
All right. Well, I'm excited for that.
So, Slammed will be our next podcast.
This was fun.
This was fun. We'd like to thank you for listening. Be sure to catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter,
Podomatic.
Podomatic, Hoobazoo.com, thanks to the booth. Check us out every Sunday at 11 p.m.
And Craigslist, where we're looking for wrestlers.
Yes, as always. I'm Mike Pava.
I'm Lumberjake.
And I'm JC.
And this has been
The Three Way Theater.